Hi, folks, after a long time, and thank you all for the ones who have subscribed to our channel and sharing the video to your friends and family. Please subscribe if you haven't and share this video too. And let's try to make the subscribers to hit 200. I know my video is very small scale. Anyhow, now let's get back to this subject. Throughout history, the aim of astronomy has been to understand and make sense of the universe. In the ancient times, astronomers were perplexed by why and how the planets moved against the backdrop of the starry sky. Meanings of the mysterious vision of comets and seeming remoteness of the sun and stars. However, in recent times, the emphasis has changed to new questions concerning how our cosmos spring into life. Also, what it is made of and how it has changed. The way in which it constitutions, such as galaxies, stars, planets, fit to the larger picture, and whether there is life beyond Earth are some of the questions humans still endeavor to answer. Now let's jump into the main video.
The origin of astronomy. In many of the world's most populated areas today, many of us are barely aware of the night sky. We can't even see it because the intensity of artificial lightings overcomes the faint and delicate light of the stars. Light pollution on this scale has exploded since the mid-20th century. In the past times, the starry patterns of the sky, the phases of the moon, and the meanderings of the planets were a familiar part of the daily experience and a perpetual source of wonder. Few people fail to be moved the first time they experience a clear sky on a truly dark night, in which the magnificent sweep of the Milky Way arches across the sky. Our ancestors were driven by a mixture of curiosity and awe in their search for order and meaning in the great vault of the sky above their heads. The mystery and grandeur of the heavens were explained by the spiritual and the divine. At the same time, however, the orderliness and predictability of repetitive cycles had vital practical applications in marking the passage of time. In our last video on the Chinese calendar, explained how Guo Shoujing studied the phases of the sun and the moon to determine the number of days in a year. If you haven't watched the video, we will link it below, so please check it out. Archaeology provides abundant evidence that in prehistoric times, astronomical phenomena were a cultural resource for societies around the world. Where there is no written record, we can only speculate as to the knowledge and beliefs early societies held. The oldest astronomical records to survive in written form comes from the Mesopotamians, the region that was between and around the valleys of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, in present-day Iraq and neighboring countries. Clay tablets inscribed with astronomical information date back to about 1600 BCE. Some of the constellations, grouping of stars, we know today have come from Mesopotamian mythology going back even earlier to before 2000 BCE. Astronomy and Astrology. The Babylonians of Mesopotamia were greatly concerned with divination. To them, planets were manifestations of the gods. The mysterious comings and goings of the planets and unusual happenings in the sky were omens from the gods. The Babylonians interpreted them by relating them to the experience. To their way of thinking, detailed records over long periods were essential to establish connections between celestial and terrestrial. And the practice of interpreting horoscopes began in the 6th century BCE. Charts showed where the sun, moon, and planets appeared against the backdrop of the zodiac at some critical time, such as a person's birth. For 2,000 years, there was little distinction between astrology, which used relative positions of celestial bodies to track the course of human lives and history, and the astronomy on which it relied. The needs of astrology, rather than pure curiosity, justified observation of the heavens. From the mid 17th century, astronomy as a scientific activity diverged from traditional astrology because it is unfounded in scientific evidence, but they have good reasons to be grateful to the astrologers of the past for leaving an invaluable historical record. Time and tide. The systematic astronomical observations once used for astrology started to become increasingly important as a means of both timekeeping and navigation. Countries had highly practical reasons, civil as well as military, to establish national observatories as the world industrialized and international trade grew. For many centuries, only astronomers had the skills and equipment to preside over the world's timekeeping. This remained the case until the development of atomic clocks in the mid-20th century. Human society regulates itself around three natural astronomical clocks. The Earth's rotation, detectable by the apparent daily march of the stars around the celestial sphere to give us the day. The time our planet takes to make a circuit around the sun, otherwise known as a year, in the monthly cycle of the moon phases. The combined motion in space of Earth, the sun, and the moon also determines the timing and magnitudes of the oceanic tides, which are of crucial importance to coastal communities and seafarers. Astronomy played an equally important part in navigation, the stars acting as a framework of reference points visible from anywhere at sea. In 1675, British King Charles II commissioned an observatory, the Royal Observatory at Greenwich, North London.
Now let's conclude this video. The practical reasons for pursuing astronomy and the space science may have changed, but they still exist. Astronomy is needed to assess the risk Earth faces from space. Nothing illustrated Earth's fragility more powerfully than the iconic images such as the Earth rise and blue marble taken from space by Apollo astronauts in the 1960s. These images reminded us that Earth is a small planet adrift in space. As surface inhabitants, the protection afforded by the atmosphere and Earth's magnetic field may make us feel secure, but we are at the mercy of a harsh space environment, blasted by energetic particles and radiation, and at risk of colliding rocks. The more we know about that environment, the better equipped we are to deal with the potential threats in its presence. I hope you like this video. Please share, like, and subscribe. See you in my next video. Thanks.